There's a particular kind of silence that unsettles the world. It's not the silence of hesitation or confusion. It's not the quiet before a storm or the pause before an argument. It's the silence of a man who has made his decision. When a Stoic man walks away, he doesn't slam doors or deliver speeches. He doesn't need the last word because he's found something far more valuable than winning an argument. He's found peace, and that peace is non-negotiable. His departure isn't an act of anger or pride. It's an act of profound self-respect. It's the moment when clarity cuts through the fog of expectation and he sees things exactly as they are. He's not leaving because he's weak. He's leaving because he's finally strong enough to choose himself. This is the walk that changes everything, and once he takes it, there's no turning back. Most men never learn this. They chase. They explain. They argue their case as if their worth depends on someone else's validation. They return to the same disappointments, hoping this time will be different. They accept disrespect because they've been taught that persistence is strength and walking away is surrender. But the Stoic man knows better. He understands that there's a profound difference between giving up and knowing when you've given enough. He's read the room. He's felt the weight of one-sided effort. He's seen the patterns repeat and the promises break. And instead of fighting a battle that was never his to win, he withdraws. Not in bitterness, but in wisdom. He knows that some things cannot be fixed, and some people will never meet you where you stand. So he stops trying to force what should flow naturally. He stops explaining himself to those who are committed to misunderstanding him. He simply walks away. And in that departure, he reclaims his sovereignty. This is what Marcus Aurelius meant when he wrote about the power of acceptance. The Stoic emperor understood that we cannot control what others think, feel, or choose. We can only control our response. Seneca taught that peace is found not in changing external circumstances, but in mastering our internal reactions. Epictetus reminded us that some things are within our power and some are not, and wisdom lies in knowing the difference. When a Stoic man walks away, he's living these ancient truths. He's not punishing anyone. He's not making a dramatic statement to inflict guilt or extract apologies. He's protecting his soul. He's drawing a boundary so sacred that even loneliness feels better than compromise. Because he knows that self-betrayal is the deepest wound, and staying where you're not valued is the slowest form of self-destruction. His walking away is an act of love, not for them, but for himself. There's a silent strength in this decision that most people never witness. The world celebrates noise. It rewards those who shout the loudest, who demand attention, who refuse to let go. But the Stoic man operates differently. His strength isn't loud. It doesn't need an audience. When he walks away, he's making a statement without saying a word. He's declaring, "I no longer allow what disrespects my peace." He's choosing dignity over drama. He's choosing solitude over settling. And that choice, quiet as it is, echoes louder than any confrontation ever could. He knows when to stand his ground and when to retreat, and both require equal measures of courage. Standing firm is easy when pride is involved, but walking away when your heart still cares? That's wisdom. That's mastery. That's the mark of a man who values his future more than his ego's need to be right in the present. In modern relationships, friendships, and professional dynamics, this principle becomes essential. We live in a world that glorifies toxicity disguised as passion, that confuses chaos with connection. People test boundaries, expecting you to fight for your place in their lives. They withdraw affection to see if you'll chase. They disrespect your time to see if you'll tolerate it. And most people do. They chase harder. They tolerate more. They convince themselves that love requires suffering and loyalty demands endurance of mistreatment. But the Stoic man sees through this. He understands that attention is energy, and energy is life force. He will not pour his life force into vessels that leak. He will not give his presence to those who treat it as optional. He knows that respect isn't negotiable, and where respect is absent, he must be absent too. This isn't cruelty. This is self-preservation. This is the recognition that you teach people how to treat you by what you accept. And walking away teaches the most powerful lesson of all. I am not yours to take for granted. What unsettles people most about the Stoic man's departure is his composure. When others act impulsively, driven by emotion and ego, he remains calm. He doesn't argue. He doesn't defend. He doesn't need to prove his worth to those who've already decided not to see it. His calmness becomes his power. Manipulators, narcissists, and those accustomed to control find this infuriating because their tactics don't work on him. Guilt doesn't move him. Anger doesn't provoke him. Pleading doesn't weaken him. He's done the internal work. He's faced his own shadows. He's learned that reaction gives power away and silence keeps it. His absence speaks volumes that his presence never could. Suddenly, those who took him for granted wonder what they've lost. Those who played games realize the game is over. But by then, he's already gone. Not physically at first, perhaps, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. He's already built a life beyond them in his mind, and that life has no room for what once drained him. The psychological shift that occurs after walking away is profound. At first, there's doubt. There's the pull of habit, the ache of withdrawal from what was familiar, even if it was harmful. The mind replays moments, questioning if you were too harsh, too quick, too final. But then something shifts. The silence that once felt empty begins to feel sacred. Solitude stops being lonely and starts being liberating. You realize you've been carrying weight that was never yours to carry. You've been solving problems you didn't create. You've been fighting for people who never fought for you. And in the absence of that struggle, you find clarity. You see yourself again, not as they defined you, but as you truly are. The Stoic man knows this transformation. He knows that peace is found on the other side of hard decisions. That growth lives in the space where comfort used to be. That sometimes you have to lose people to find yourself. And once you find yourself, once you taste the freedom of living aligned with your values, there's no going back to the cage. This is why when a Stoic man walks away, it's permanent. Not because he's cold or heartless. Not because he doesn't remember the good times or acknowledge what once was, but because he's awakened. He's seen the truth. He's felt the difference between being wanted and being valued, between being loved and being convenient, between being respected and being tolerated, and he's chosen himself. Not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. Because he understands that his time on this earth is limited, his energy is finite, and his peace is priceless. He won't spend his one wild and precious life trying to convince people of his worth. He won't beg for the bare minimum. He won't accept crumbs when he deserves the whole meal. So he walks. Quietly, firmly, finally, and he never looks back. He doesn't hate you. He doesn't wish you harm. He's not plotting revenge or waiting for karma to strike. He's simply done giving energy to what drains his soul. He's realized that forgiveness doesn't require reconciliation, that you can wish someone well from a distance, that closure comes from within, not from external validation. He's learned the ancient wisdom that Epictetus taught. Some people are in your life for a reason, some for a season, and some are there to teach you what you will no longer accept. And once that lesson is learned, once a Stoic man understands his worth, discovers his power, and embraces his peace, he closes that chapter with the finality of a man who knows his value. He turns the page. He walks into the unknown with his head high and his heart protected, because he's no longer afraid of starting over. He's no longer attached to what almost destroyed him. He's free, and freedom, once tasted, can never be traded for the false comfort of familiarity. This is the walk of the awakened man. The walk of the Stoic. The walk that never reverses. Because a man who has learned to choose himself will never again settle for less.